get the Extension Education and Economic Development Committee underway. First item is Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next is public comment. I don't have anyone that's approached me, and Kelly hasn't either, so we will move on to number 4, approval of December 4th Extension Education and Economic Development minutes. We've got a motion by Hagan, a second by Rosenberg. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No? Passes unanimously. Thank you. Next, we will go on to 5, operational functions required by statute, ordinance, resolution, or policy. A, discussion and possible action by EED. 1, consideration of whether to direct the administrator to author a letter of support for the Greater Wausau Prosperity Partnership's application for grant funding from the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation's Talent Relocation Grant Program. So we have Renee Krings here to present and give us more information about this. Do you want to come up front, or do you want to just go there? Are you going to do a slideshow, or are you just, okay.
If I can.
You're going to grab that microphone.
If you could come up to the front, it just makes it easier for all of us to see you. Thank you.
Chair Marash, this is Administrator Leonard. Can you hear me by chance?
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect. Just to kick it off a little bit while Renee gets situated. So just to refresh everyone's recollection, you've actually had some conversations on what I'll call a talent relocation or worker relocation grant programs before, or programs before. We've talked about those things because of challenges relative to low unemployment. Again, we're about 10% below the state average here in Marathon County, and the region is highly competitive. The challenges we have with our aging workforce in terms of demographic changes and just general workforce challenges, particularly in certain industry sectors. We've talked about those things, and we've talked about them at the county level in terms of our local government workforce. So while there was interest a couple of months ago, Chris and I presented to the committee, while there was interest, this sort of program, worker relocation, was not really identified by the committee as a top priority, particularly given a couple of things from my perspective. The committee highlighted the lack of funding that was identified by within county resources, and the limited capacity of county staff to really oversee such an effort. Well, the good news is that there now is some clear funding opportunity available through WEDC. And we do also have local interest from a nonprofit, the Greater Wausau Prosperity Partnership, to serve as the applicant for the funds, but then also to work to implement the program across the entire county. So that's why Renee is here today from GWPP. Her and I have met a couple of times to discuss the opportunity, again, to address those worker shortage issues, help local businesses compete more effectively. And again, what I think is pretty attractive about this program, it's leveraging outside funding. Again, these are taxpayer funds that people from Marathon County have paid in, and this is an opportunity for us to leverage those and keep those or bring those back locally. So ultimately, as you referenced, Chair Marash, the ask for the consideration for this committee and ultimately the board is whether the county would submit a letter, and I could submit that letter in support of the application from the Greater Wausau Prosperity Partnership to the WEDC Worker Relocation Grant Program. So with that, I'll turn it over to Renee. I don't think we'll get into too much details of the specifics of the grant application, as Renee's still working on it, but we've had some, I think, really good conversations about what that might look like. And it's also a competitive grant, so I know we don't necessarily want too many of the details of our application to to be widely known, but I do think it's a good opportunity and worthy of discussion by the committee and the full board. So with that, take it away, Renee.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Can everyone hear me okay?
Microphone's on, yeah, we have to get a
Just
little bit
maybe try to get a little closer.
closer. Yeah, there we go.
Is that good?
Yeah.
All right. Well, good afternoon. As Administrator Leonard shared, my name is Renee Krings. I am the Senior Director with the Greater Wausau Prosperity Partnership. So for those of you who may not be familiar with the Greater Wausau Prosperity Partnership, it actually began back in 2019 out of an initiative of the Chamber. A number of community leaders had got together out of concerns with declining population trends and workforce challenges and developed the Greater Wausau Prosperity Partnership. So today it is an example of a diverse group of business and community leaders who are focused on creating a stronger, more competitive economic development platform for the region. I'd like to start by thanking the Extension Education and Economic Development Committee for the opportunity to join you today to share information about WEDC's Talent Recruitment Grant Program, and also to respectfully request your consideration to direct the administrator to author a letter of support for the Greater Wausau Prosperity Partnership's application for the Talent Recruitment Grant Program. In addition, we want to garner your perspectives and incorporate your feedback as we finalize our grant proposal. To begin, I'll provide a quick summary of the program. I also want to thank Administrator Leonard for including the program overview and details of the program in the application in the agenda packet. So hopefully you had a chance to review that. However, I will quickly highlight some of the important details of the program. WEDC established the Talent Recruitment Grant under the 2025 Wisconsin Act 15 to support local efforts to attract and incentivize out-of-state talent to relocate to Wisconsin municipalities. The program provides funding to local governments and eligible nonprofits to design and implement strategies that attract new residents from outside of Wisconsin. Available incentives include a total of $5 million statewide and the maximum award of $500,000 per municipality per fiscal year. In addition, applicants must provide a 20% local match, which can include cash, investments, and in-kind contributions. The grant period opened this week, in fact on Monday, January 5th, and closes on January 30th. So you can see that it's a very tight window, and we do anticipate a highly competitive application process. As Administrator Leonard shared, we are still finalizing the program details and would like to keep the information high level today. However, I would like to share some of the strategies that we've incorporated into the program proposal. First, I'd like to touch on the countywide nature of our proposal. The grant is open to individual municipalities, cities, towns, villages. However, our goal is to focus on the entire county. We believe that in order for Marathon County to be successful, we must prioritize the needs of our local employers while supporting the support of both our urban and rural communities. Also, a major component of the application includes a strong emphasis on partnerships and collaboration. In talking with some of our friends at our local municipalities, we recognize that it can be difficult for municipalities to dedicate resources to these types of initiatives. And recognizing the significant opportunity for the region, I was able to receive support from the GWPP Board of Directors to dedicate my time to coordinate the application and to collaborate with local partners on the design and administration of the program. We are planning to seek support from local foundations and community partners for the local match requirement and in-kind contributions, and are bringing together collaboration from a number of community partners, including local employers, education partners, workforce boards, Chamber of Commerce, the Visitor and Convention Center, recreation organizations, community organizations to support the promotion, engagement, grant narrative process, and overall success of the program. I'd also like to highlight that our program proposal places a high focus on sustainability from both a workforce retention and a funding standpoint. The program is designed to showcase our region's quality of life attributes, to incentivize relocation and overcome obstacles and barriers to moving, and also includes a comprehensive community onboarding initiative. We recognize that it's not feasible to recruit households to move here to our community for a year and then leave. We've designed the program to include aspects focused on keeping people here and integrating them deeply into our local communities. We want to support these individuals to grow roots and make lasting connections. We're also exploring strategies to ensure that the program is sustainable beyond the period of the grant. Administrator Leonard touched on some of the desired outcomes, such as helping businesses to find workers. I also want to encourage you to consider the multiplier effect with recruiting households to the area, which will include trailing loved ones and their families. These individuals will buy homes, they'll spend money locally, they'll enroll into our local school districts, which increases vibrancy of the local economy and also contributes to property tax revenue, sales tax revenue. So you'll see that this impact goes far beyond the numbers when you consider the lasting outcomes for our local communities. That's what I have to share with you. And at this time, I'd like to entertain any questions that you might have for me.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Go ahead, Supervisor Unger first, and then Supervisor Lemmer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a few questions. Well, I'll start with the first one. Just vetting individuals, families, businesses. What would that look like, and how would, I don't know if you can explain the process of that. Yeah. And then what would be the ratio? Would you is there a ratio like versus how many individuals or families versus how many businesses or organizations would come in? Just seeing where that money would be distributed. And can I ask one more? And then what does that look like? The monetary donate or grant to each business, family, whatever that looks like. But what would that, is it like $1,000? Is it $5,000, $10,000? Just like what that would look like.
Those are all really great questions, absolutely. And again, I'd like to address those questions in a way where I'm speaking to your questions and trying to provide the information that you are seeking. I do want to keep some of that information, just part of the application process being that it is a competitive grant. However, I would be happy to entertain phone calls or another visit to provide more detailed information. So let me kind of address one question at a time. There would be a vetting process. Part of the application process, applicants do need to demonstrate being able to fiscally and responsibly execute and implement the program. WEDC has implemented some criteria and some thresholds already. So for instance, in order for a household to be considered for the program, they do need to include a income of $55,000 or higher annually. So for instance, it would be an individual who would need to be working in field. So that would be one of those criterias. Another aspect, there's been a lot of conversation about if an individual located right outside of Marathon County, however, they took a job at one of our employers who are located within Marathon County, that could also qualify. So there's some different considerations when it comes to what would consider. The application also does encourage communities to include a target market. Who are you targeting? A very clear target in terms of what type of workforce. And what I could share is that we are looking to support our driving industry sectors. So there's some key occupations that would really benefit our local employers. And so those are some of the targets that we're looking for. In terms of the incentive programs, what I'd like to share is the incentives are designed to help an individual relocate here. So if you think about some of those barriers to relocation, it could be things in terms of finding a house, apartment, or a place to live. So it could be things that are really designed to get those individuals here, moving expenses, things like that. And then in addition, we really want to focus on how do we help them integrate into the community. So how are they learning about the community? How are they getting plugged in? How are they getting involved? And taking advantage of all of the great things that our region has to offer. We have wonderful recreation, cultural experiences, and we want to make sure that this program really encourages them to take advantage of those opportunities.
Supervisor Lemmer.
Thank you, Chair Marash. Thanks for this. I think it's a great idea. I'm just curious with the 20% match that can be in-kind investments or actual cash. Can you talk a little bit about either those investments or the in-kind, what might qualify for that?
Absolutely. So to speak to the local match requirement, WEDC is allowing applicants to include in-kind contributions in addition to cash investments. So these in-kind contributions could include things like time for a person to administer and run the program. It also covers the funding is designed to cover. It could include the design, the implementation, as well as the incentives to recruit someone to the area. So if, for instance, an example could include one of the examples that you saw in your agenda packet was talking with Jamie Polly's team with the Parks and Rec, authorizing pass to the park systems. And so those are types of in-kind contributions that could count towards that local match.
Well, that's great, because that was the next thing I wondered was if we were to go that route, would that be for the worker or the whole family? And if you don't know that, I would just say I would endorse the whole family to keep them all involved.
Those are all great points. And so the perk itself would be designed for the individual or the household taking advantage of these incentives. However, the program overall, we are looking at it holistically. We recognize that there's trailing spouses, families that are that would be tagging along with these individuals as they make that move, and we want to make sure that we're focusing on all of those individuals. So again, there's wraparound services that we could help not only the individual to relocate and find jobs, but we also want to support a trailing spouse or a loved one that may be looking to get integrated into the community, or perhaps we could help them with touring schools and understanding what our education systems look like. So we want to incorporate that wraparound hands-on service that we could help an individual to get acquainted here locally.
And then just the last question, maybe this is something I've missed, but there's quite a range. It says a 500,000 cap per municipality. Is the GWPP considered the municipality, or is that multiplied out by how many? I mean, how does that work?
Great question. So the grant application is eligible for municipalities to apply, but also nonprofit organizations that have economic development and workforce development in their mission. And so we would be applying, Greater Wausau Prosperity Partnership would submit the application, and our intent is to identify Marathon County as our target municipality location, or geography or location.
Okay, well, thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I think this is a great opportunity. I want to thank GWPP for taking this on. It's really rare in the grant space to see something at an 80-20. That's a great opportunity for the county to take advantage of that funding. My understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, there's no cost. You're not coming back to the county for funding at any point. This is going to be raised by private funds or foundation dollars.
That is correct. Again, one of the partnership collaborations, we wanted to ensure that we're providing support to our local employers, to our local municipalities, and our intent is to seek support from local foundations and community partners outside of our municipality partners.
Thank you. I think that's great. I mean, when it comes to what we're being asked to do as a letter of support, I think that makes it a really easy decision for me, at least, to support this. Bringing new people into the community, workforce is a challenge, especially in different segments of the industry. So anything we can do to support that is great. So thank you.
Anybody else? No, then I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to recommend, or to, are we making a motion to direct
Direct the administrator.
Okay, direct the administrator to author a letter of support for the Greater Wausau Prosperity Partnership application for grant funding from the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation's Talent Recruitment Grant Program.
Okay, we have a second by Supervisor Hagan. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Unanimous decision. Thank you. We will move on to 5B.
Just want to thank you for your support and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Renee. Sorry about that. Okay, moving on to 6. We've got 6A. We'll turn it over to Lori Miskimmons for her discussion on our Marathon County 2026 Comprehensive Plan draft.
All right, where's the mouse go? All right, thank you. So in your packet today, there is a memo and a summary document explaining that the executive committee has approved a draft that they want everyone to look at between now and February 11th to confirm that all the changes that you want to see in the comp plan are there. So the executive committee on February 12th does plan to take up a resolution that would be a formal proposal to adopt the comprehensive plan, and then it would start that 30-day clock to put it out to the public one more time, concluding in a public hearing in March, and then it would come back to the county board for adoption at that point. So right now what they're doing is they're putting the full draft out there for you all to take that look one more time, look at the goals and objectives, confirm that these are the goals and objectives that you believe the county should be focusing on over the next 10 years, because those are the things that are going to help develop your strategic plan. After you adopt the comprehensive plan, you'll work on your strategic plan, and that will come from these goals and objectives. A couple things we've talked about in some of the other committees have been that definitely the objectives are meant to be broad. In some cases, you may find that you think an objective is missing. We would encourage you to take a look at Chapter 13 of the comp plan first too, and check out the strategies that are accompanying those goals and objectives, because you may find that there's a strategy that supports that. So I think we talked about at, can't even remember which meeting I was at now, but we were talking about homelessness and that there wasn't an objective related specifically to homelessness, but when we did look in Chapter 13, there were some strategies under an objective in Chapter 3 that did support that. So that was just an example that was brought up this week in another committee meeting. So definitely take a look at Chapter 13 as well before you bring forth new objective proposals. Administrator Leonard, did you want to add anything else?
No, I think you got it very well. It was the example at both Health and Human Services and Infrastructure this morning was the homelessness example.
So at this point, we don't need any action. We can certainly have discussion here today if you want, but if there's anything people want to see, they can bring it to next month's EED meeting, or you can also email myself and Jeff Pritchard any comments or suggestions as well.
Okay, thank you. And I just wanted to thank you for putting in the changes that I requested. I appreciate it very much. Anybody else have any comments, questions? No? All right, thank you. We will move on to 6B, the Marathon County Public Library update, including but not limited to updates on recent projects, upcoming programming, and state-level developments. So I wanted Leah to come. We haven't seen her in a long time, and I know they've been making a lot of changes at the library, so I just thought it'd be nice to have an overview. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Marash, and other esteemed members of the EEEDC. Yeah, we have a lot of updates going on. The first thing that was recently completed was our aquarium. If any of you are familiar with our aquarium, we had a lovely aquarium. Unfortunately, it leaked and endangered our little fish community. And it happened recurrently where facilities were having to be called for leaking issues. And so through donations of the public, through our foundation, we were able to replace our aquarium. So we have another 650-gallon saltwater aquarium that you can go and visit. Loved by many, not just children. Everyone comes to visit the fish, and you, Supervisor Lemmer. So yeah, we're really, really happy with it. We designed it in such a way that leaks will not occur. It was designed in part by our aquarium manager, the person who oversees our aquarium, so that we could make sure that the internal parts work just as lovely as the beauty of the outside. And the outside, if you haven't seen it yet, is really beautiful. It's wood. We designed it to match, our wood shelving, and it's a really classic design that sort of is timeless. So we're really, really happy with it. The fish all survived their relocation, and things went really, really well. Another big, huge project we're working on right now is the bathroom renovation. We've been saving up. Our bathrooms are over 30 years old, put in when the library itself was made. And so, wear and tear, there was some gouges, there was some graffiti, things that were no longer able to be removed. And so we had been saving up, and we with the help of facilities, they put an RFP out for us to have our bathrooms renovated. As construction projects go, there are a couple of delays. The tile came late, and so we had to wait for that. The biggest challenge that we've come across to date is the new toilets. They are not functioning as expected. They are not flushing well. We have residential plumbing, and that's unfortunate. It's something we've talked to facilities about for many, many years. When the building was built, it's the difference of pipe size. It didn't seem to be feasible from facilities to be able to, change all of our piping. So we put in new toilets with the same residential pipes, and they have just been clogging kind of repeatedly. But the project manager, the facilities project manager that's overseeing our contractors, is gone to extreme lengths, including putting cameras in sample toilets to see what could be better, what could remedy the situation. And we have a possible remedy. We have extra pressure toilets that we are testing out as we speak, hoping that those flush beautifully all night long. And if so, then we'll transition and hopefully return the toilets that have not been used and put in the new toilets with hyper flush capabilities. Because as you know, our library is very, very busy. We have hundreds of people that come every single day, and many of them use our bathrooms, including the 35 employees that we have at the library all day too. So it's important. But really the overall point of the project is aligned with our strategic plan to enhance user experience. The most important part was that we wanted to keep our restrooms safe. We want to keep them to code, we want them to be hygienic, and we want them to be welcoming. So they look fresh, they look beautiful. I'm hopeful that this toilet swap out is going to remedy some of the challenges that we've experienced. And the first floor bathrooms should be done by the end of next week. Second floor, again, are open to the public, so if you want to check out our new bathrooms, you can do that then. They still have the original purchased toilets. in them, but we have a plan for all of that. And our facilities project manager has been literally like going to every toilet manufacturer in the area, checking the glazing, checking everything that he possibly can to make sure that we have the best possible toilets, considering our residential plumbing. So that is the update with the bathroom renovation. But we also have some things going on behind the scenes. We're upgraded our Microsoft Office way late. I think we had like 2011 and we were getting like pop-ups like this is no longer supported. Luckily, our newish support services manager discovered that through our system, WVLS, they provide Microsoft Office free of charge because we're a public library. So we were able to get that and save money, honestly, from getting licenses for all the Microsoft Office. We're also transitioning our email. That's a bit more of a challenging project. We're waiting on CCIT to give us some permission so that we can migrate our current emails over to new ones, but that will also provide Marathon County Public Library with free emails. It's all part of the Microsoft, you know, as a public library, as a nonprofit organization, we have access to that software free of charge, at least for now. Another cool thing that we've recently implemented at the library is Princh. If you're not familiar with Princh, it's wireless printing. So when you go to the library, if you have to print something out, instead of having to go to one of our public computers, log on with your library card number, go into your email or whatever and put in your password, pull up the document and then print it, you can just go with your phone and you can send what you want to print to our printer, and then there's a release for that. So it's been something that's been asked for many, many years. And now we have a really good software. It's been working great. I mean, we have business people coming in that just need to print something, or somebody that needed to make an extra copy of their resume, you know, and it saves you all of this time of like logging in. And you know how we all have our passwords saved like on the browser of your phone, but you don't remember it to go log in, you know, so it's been really, really great. And it's working really, really well. We also implemented credit card payments for that. Printing is very, very cheap at the library. It's 10 cents a page, but some people just don't have cash on them. So that's been useful as well for people. What else do we have going on? Oh, phones. I don't know if it's been brought up, the broader county board, that CCITC is implementing new phones, kind of county-wide, our new Cisco phones. Along with that, when we were discussing our phone setup, we discovered that the new phones have like an emergency button that you can push if you have like a dangerous situation, and if you don't press it again within 5 seconds or something like that, it alerts law enforcement, which, you know, when you're in the courthouse isn't a big issue because the police are right here. And same with Wausau, we have panic buttons at our reference desks and our circulation desks. But at the branches, we've been looking for a solution as a part of our strategic plan goal of supporting our staff. A lot of times we have an employee who is working all by themselves in the branch alone. You know, in some cases, exits are, you know, not easily accessible. We look at all of those things we did like a safety assessment at the branches. And so we were looking into a panic button. I was speaking to the sheriff. There were some issues with that, being able to have panic buttons that went directly to alert law enforcement, because the municipalities, you know, some branches have a police station in their building, but they're not always there. And so it would need to alert the closest, even if it's state patrol or if it's county sheriffs that are on a highway nearest to the emergency. So anyway, when we discovered this about the phones, we thought, what a solution. So we are looking into replacing our branch phones with these new Cisco phones that have emergency button capabilities. So it really just sort of happened. It's a lucky and also an economical solution too, so we're really excited about that. Bigger stuff on like a statewide level, I am vice chair of SERLA, which stands for the System and Resource Library Administrator Association of Wisconsin, which is a mouthful. That's why we call it SERLA. Anyhow, what we do is we meet quarterly and talk about statewide legislative, policy, and operational issues affecting public library services. Big thing that we have coming up is Library Legislative Day. I believe I'm going to be attending that. It's in early February. And that's where we go to the Capitol and we meet with state legislators that represent our communities and just build relationships with them and thank them. Like this year is not a budget year for the library, so it's more of a thank you for supporting the library last cycle. And just making sure that, you know, we're in their minds somewhere when it comes to, you know, financially supporting. Now, state support doesn't come directly to us. It doesn't come to Marathon County Public Library. It gets distributed among the systems, and then the systems support us. So that's pretty much how it happens. But, you know, we always write handwritten thank you letters because we're librarians. And I think that's how we're a little bit more memorable because they meet with so many people. So we just try to make it like a really enjoyable experience and really just thank them for the support that they do provide and ask them to continue to provide support. So that's something that's coming up on sort of a statewide level. Programming at the library, you can of course go to mcpl.us or follow our Facebook or Instagram social media pages to see upcoming program, but we have lots and lots of cool stuff going on. One thing that I would like to sort of pitch here is the LENA program. We've been doing the LENA program for several years now, and we have a cohort starting in February. If you're not familiar with LENA, it's an outstanding program. It really helps develop early literacy with our small kids. It's free. All you have to do is, I think I have the login here or the place to sign up. It's LENA Start MC, that's like Marathon County, lenastartmc.org. And so we're starting a new cohort in February. I think it's going to be on Tuesdays from 12 to 1. It's a 10-week program that where parents go who have children from just born to 4.5 years old, and it's focused on early language development. So what they do is they get little bibs that have recorders, and they don't record actual words, they record sound, so they can hear if the baby's going wah, 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 and then the mom is saying, you know, hey, do you want to read a story? But it just sounds like the mother talking or the father talking or grandpa talking. And it records back and forth communication with the child. So even before they're able to speak and form full sentences, it's shown in science that these back and forth interactions hugely improve the lexicon of children later in life when they're school age. So starting at babies. And so what the class does is it teaches parents how to interact. You know what I mean? Every time, don't just give them little carrots. Say, here's some carrots. Do you want to eat these carrots? Aren't they pretty? They're orange. They're, you know. And so it documents how many back and forth interactions happen during a day, and it correlates directly with school success and later, you know, adult life success. So it's a really cool program. We have staff that are trained to be cohort leaders, and we also support the other cohorts leaders that do it in other locations. So if you go to lenastartmc.org and you're not in the general Wausau area, there are other cohorts going on. If you have or you know someone that has baby to 4.5 years old. So that's a really great program. I just wanted to point that out. It's something we've been doing for several years, but it's huge. It's really, really impactful when it comes to early literacy, which is what we're all about. One of the last things I wanted to talk about here is a couple of new things we have available digitally. We have what's called Canopy. Canopy is a streaming service. We just got a couple of new packs, so I want to read them to you. But So it's an unlimited streaming video collection that you can access on your smart TV, mobile device, or computer. It's basically like Netflix, but it's free if you have a library card. If you have a library card in good standing, you can put in your library card number and you have access to Canopy. So it's limited in its number of films, but they do change. The packs rotate and we can add them in or take them out. So right now we have packs for British cinema and TV, easy watching, family friendly, kids, series, and favorites. So you can add it to your smart TV, you can watch it on your laptop, you can access it basically anywhere you have internet if you have a library card in good standing. So that's something we're trying. It's getting lots of traction. We get more users every month when I look at stats and more hours of use. So we think it's a worthwhile investment. You know, when we look at our circulation statistics, a lot of times our print circulation is going down at the same rate our digital circulation is going up. So this was our attempt to try, like, not so many people are checking out DVDs anymore. I mean, people don't even have DVD players anymore. It's madness. I remember VHS. Anyway, so we're trying this out. You know, we're always looking for ways to enhance our users' experience, our patrons' experience, and see if this is something that is valuable for them. So that's what we're doing right now. One other thing that's really cool, and I thought you guys might be into this, is we're working with the Central Wisconsin Digitization Project. We've been doing this for years. We've been scanning and documenting historical documents of interest. We have I think I have a list of what is on there right now. I thought I printed it. Oh, yeah. So things like railroads of Lincoln and Marathon counties, libraries and schools in Marathon and Lincoln counties, documents of central Wisconsin history. These are fun if you're from the area. Wausau Senior High and Wausau Senior High and Wausau East Senior High yearbooks. You can look up all of the yearbooks. They're online digitally now. DC Everest High School yearbooks, Wausau West High School yearbooks. And the one that I thought was, it's new and I thought it might be of interest to county board supervisors is the Marathon County Historic Maps. So there's some really cool, an 1882 map of the area, a 1901 map of the area, and then this, probably the most interesting, is the evolution of townships. So there was a book created by the Marathon County Highway Department sometime in the mid-1960s, and it shows step-by-step how the land that became Marathon County was divided up into townships. So each page shows the change and notes the date of the township's founding, as well as some election dates. So I just thought that was a really cool find if you're interested in local history. So all of that is available through the Central Wisconsin Digitization Project. It's not just us working on it. There are several people that are working on it. And that is, I thought I had the email address here, but I think if you just Google Central Wisconsin Digitization Project, or you can go through our website too. We have like a subpage on it and you can click on it and have access to all of those things. So that's all I have to report, but I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone might have.
Thank you very much for all that detail. Anybody have any questions? Yes, Supervisor Lemmer.
All right, thanks. Yep. Avid library attender. So thank you for the update. It's all exciting. And I would love to just plug Lena for anybody who has grandbabies or babies. Early literacy is key. And we are seeing statistics about our children entering school and not having even the verbal skills that are needed for kindergarten success. So yeah, definitely great program. I'm actually curious, you implied that your state funding is stable. What about federal funding? I remember there were executive orders that were cutting some programs, but then there were court cases. Can you talk a little bit about that? Or
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't impact Marathon County Public Library too dramatically. It did impact some of WVLS's ability to provide scholarships to, conferences. But we do not personally have any federal grants, so it didn't impact us. What it really impacts is DPI. They oversee a lot of public library functioning. They're who we submit our annual reports to. So they were on, I think, a delicate, situation for a time period, but it looks like they are currently funded, at least through mid-year. I probably have more details about that after I attend SURLA in February. And I'll give you a call if there's something that I learn during that. But yeah, but we don't. Now, there are small libraries. There are small libraries that are not like we are. You know, we have kind of stability as a consolidated county library, but individual municipal libraries, sometimes they depend on some federal grants. And so some of them have had dramatic impact, but we haven't here.
Perfect. Thank you again for all you do. It's exciting.
Thank you.
I have a question. Your early childhood play area, will you be putting the magnet boards back?
Oh, yeah. That is well loved. Yeah, we're working on a sort of children's revamp that's coming. If you noticed, we took down our sweet, sort of whimsical entryway that looked like Rapunzel, but Rapunzel's hair had broken off, which was like kind of her whole thing, was hair. Yeah, and the tiles on the floor were like peeling up and becoming like a tripping hazard. So we're gonna have this new nature theme, but rest assured, we have magnet boards. I don't know if they're going right on the wall or if it's like a stand, but we will have those with different fun like activities that you can like learn and play on. So yes, they're coming back in maybe a slightly different form.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? No? Yes, Supervisor Hagan?
I have a quick question. A while back, you gave a report to us and you said you were having some problems with people in the library and that type of thing. Has that situation improved, changed, or?
I would say that the number of incidents that we have at the library has stayed steady. I wouldn't say that it has improved, but we do have a security now. So that has helped dramatically with our patrons' sense of comfort and also our employees. So yeah, and we still have incidents, we still have issues, as I think all public spaces experience, you know, particularly in the winter. We have a lot more of it because they're trying to come in out of the cold. But as I've said in the past, you know, we have patrons. I don't care if you live in a castle. I don't care if you don't have a home. If you're using the library for its intended purpose, you are welcome. You know, where we run into incidents, of course, is issues with mental illness, active addiction, things like that, that my staff are not capable of managing and shouldn't be. So the security guard has helped us and kept things you know, mitigated and safe and comfortable and welcoming at the library. But if you're asking if things have gotten better, in my observation, with regard to the potential for those issues, I'd say it's pretty steady since this time last year.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right, we will move on. We have 6C, McDevco's monthly report. Do you have anything to tell us about?
Nothing too crazy. Just want to shout out that McDevco did lend just shy of $1 million as we ended 2025. So that's really exciting. So we've been getting to know each other for 5 years and talked about how the funds were kind of inactive coming out of COVID. So this is really exciting, especially being able to say that the Marathon County $1 million that you pledged to McDevco, we have now dispersed into the community, and we're working with the Judd Alexander Foundation on the remaining balance of the $1 million they committed in partnership with that deal. So that's great. If you think about the economic impact, I'm not great with numbers and I don't want to make anything up, but I think if you think about our average loan is $25,000, you know, thinking about those small businesses or homeowners that needed their private on-site wastewater treatment systems replaced, that's a big impact to families, communities, dollars in the community. Of our active loan portfolio, obviously, we serve the residents of Marathon County needing their private on-site wastewater treatment systems repaired with low-interest loans, but we also have businesses that are either starting or expanding. And I will tell you about 60% of our loan portfolio is service-based businesses, so being in that hospitality space. We have some auto, mental health, practices. So really cool to see a diverse portfolio of things that assist the community. So we'll continue working on that, obviously, throughout 2026. We are not concerned about running out of funds. We'll continue to be strategic to make sure those are available to our community. Excuse me, 2026 educational programs, that's a key component of what we do in lending. So lending is the main driver of our organization, but that education is critical because when you start a business, you're usually not always prepared for what you're embarking on. So offering some of those ongoing courses that aren't offered elsewhere, we don't want to reinvent the wheel, is really important to us. So you can see the programs we ran last year, and we have some in process for this year. Excuse me, the reason I don't have more is I'm waiting to hear from my mentors what their availability is. And we always like to think about what's relevant in the community right now, right? We don't teach advertising and marketing like we used to. We teach social media because we all live on Facebook or I don't know, whatever else everybody's using these days. But that's the most cost-effective way for our entrepreneurs to reach people. So we want to make sure that we're continuing to adapt. And we will, of course, offer our Gear Certificate program in the fall. That is our Cornership program or Cornerstone program. It's about 16 weeks, and it's for folks that are looking to start a business or maybe they created their entity and they don't know what to do. We take 15 students. We have about 8 that graduate. And of those 8, I would say about 5 to 6 start their business right away. The other 2 kind of wait and take some time or come back for educational resources. All of that's a win. We want to make sure we set folks up for success. And then we continue to convene the municipalities to, share the good work we do to help their businesses. And a key part of that is what we do in managing the Wausau Business Incubator. So incubating businesses that are starting or transitioning out of their home that need manufacturing or office-based below market rate can come see us. We also have a commercial kitchen that can be utilized as well, which is a great amenity, especially for those food trucks. And you can see we're in the mid-80s for occupancy. So, we were about 61% full coming out of COVID. So this has been something that has drastically improved, and getting in front of our clients at the incubator to share what we have for financing opportunities or how can we assist you in transitioning out into one of the municipalities that might have a vacant space that you need so we can filter in a new business is something we're really focused on in 2026. This will be my last update till about May, since I'll be out with baby. You will still continue to get these reports, but just know business as usual, and we're open for business and continuing to assist folks that come to us no matter the month. So I'll see you again in May, but you'll continue to have these reports.
Great, thank you, and hope everything goes smoothly.
Me too.
All right, do we have Mallory on by chance, Kelly? Yes. Okay, great, and we will move on to 6D, our UW Extension Monthly Report. Mallory?
Hi there, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to zoom in here. The rescheduled committee meeting unfortunately had me double booked with committees tonight, so I appreciate the opportunity to zoom in. I think as far as updates for us, obviously you have your reports in the packet. So we do have November and December in there. So it is perhaps a little long. Apologies if that was a lot of reading. I would like to, if I can, draw your attention to what I believe is the last page of the packet. There's just a couple upcoming events there that I just wanted to kind of highlight. One of them is the Central Wisconsin Housing Summit. So we have a save the date in there. So really the goal of that is to engage developers, local government, local housing folks around rural housing solutions and best practices to increase affordable workforce housing and supporting local economies. Registration for that will open next week, so I can ensure that I get that information along to this committee if that's of interest to folks. Also included in there some AI sessions that are coming up for local government that will be taking place throughout the state. These will be really similar to sessions that were already held in Marathon County in December. And that was held for county leaders of around 10 counties across Wisconsin, including Marathon County. So just want to thank Lance for encouraging department heads to attend that in December. It was a really great session. So if there are any questions at all about that, otherwise I did have an update as well around this area extension director position as well.
Any questions before she moves on? Nope, we're all good. Thank you. Continue.
Sure. So obviously I've been serving in an interim capacity for the area extension director role. I know we've reported on this, but just to reiterate, I know I wasn't here last month. So extension as well as other departments and divisions of UW-Madison were tasked with implementing a budget reduction. So the way that UW-Madison Division of Extension chose to do that to really mitigate any impact on local programming or local educators or local FTEs was really to look at the area extension director model and how the counties are divided across the state. And we were able to kind of meet that reduction with sort of restructuring the state. So that took a little bit of time, but now that that is done, it didn't significantly impact our service area. We swapped out one county or adding another. But as far as this committee would be concerned, we are currently in the hiring process for the new area extension director. We held preliminary interviews this week, and we are planning to hold final interviews January 21st. So I would encourage members of this committee to hold that date if attending those presentations would be of interest. So typically our structure for a final interview would be giving the finalists a topic to present on. So they're giving around a 10-minute presentation. So we would love for you to attend that presentation if you'd like to in person. They will be held in Stevens Point, but I can also ensure that you have the Zoom link. So if anyone would like to attend that and watch those presentations, I would encourage you to do so. So I will make sure I get that information out to this committee as well. The hope is that we can have the area extension director in place by early March, if not sooner, but just, giving time for if someone needs to give an extended leave from their current employer, just kind of giving that buffer of time in there. But that's sort of the plan for now. If anyone has any questions about that process at all.
Any questions, comments? No? Okay. Well, sounds good. Thank you very much for joining us today, Mallory.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
All right, so then that takes us to 7, next meeting date and time, announcements and future agenda items. A, committee members are asked to bring ideas for future discussion, and B, next meeting, Thursday, February 5th at 3 p.m. So next I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Rosenberg, second by Seefeld. All right, all in favor? Aye. Aye. Over and out. Thank you.